Adjourn. I call the member for Dawson.
Very much, Madam Speaker. The former US President Harry Truman had a sign on his desk that read, "The buck stops here," and perhaps every home should have one of those signs. Someone in every home needs to take responsibility. In a family home, that someone must be the parents. But the clear links between parenting and juvenile delinquency seems to be ignored when it comes to youth crime. Youth crime is an apprenticeship for adult crime. Not all juvenile offenders complete their apprenticeship and stay in the trade, but many actually do. I wonder how many future criminals and future crime would be prevented if parents were held accountable for the actions of children, or if punishments for offences were handed to parents, or if parents of juvenile offenders were forced to better their parenting skills as a result of the juvenile crime. There is a strong case for stronger linkages. In Machteld Hoeve's et al. Meta-analysis of the relationship between parenting and delinquency, this conclusion is drawn. A quote from that says, "A significant relationship exists between parenting and delinquency and confirms previous research that behavioural control, such as parental monitoring, is negatively linked to delinquency." Closer to home, Kevin Ronan, Foundation Professor and Chair of Clinical Psychology at CQ University, has publicly said not knowing or caring where the kids are, perhaps when drinking or at other times, has been found to be linked to what is often the single most powerful predictor of violent antisocial outcomes for youth, associating with other kids who have come from similar backgrounds and who are also on an antisocial trajectory. Now, I recently held a community forum in Wallaroo in Townsville to talk about the rising incidence of crime in the suburbs of that city that fall within my electorate. As an example, in the past 2 months, 8 homes have been broken into in Annandale. They've been burgled or broken into. In addition, thieves broke into 8 cars and another 3 cars were stolen. It was a similar tale in Wallaroo: 10 homes burgled or broken into, 5 cars broken into or stolen. In Adalia, 9 homes were burgled or broken into. Thieves broke into 7 cars and another 5 stolen. Stewart, Cluden and Anunba have also been targeted. In the past 2 months, 3 schools in that area have been broken into. Residents I spoke to at my community forum in Wallaroo were concerned about the escalating crime rate. They live in fear of the next break-in and feel nothing can be done to stop young offenders. Wallaroo resident Jeff Winstanley, who couldn't make it to the forum, wrote to me saying, "I'm very concerned about crime in the area. Most people are. My neighbour across the road had his car stolen last year. He's lucky to get it back. Hundreds more people in Townsville have endured the same or worse. I've had kids that have looked to be 12 to 14 years old trying to break into my car and house at 1:30 a.m. Well, whose children are these, and do their parents know where they are at 1:30 in the morning? Why do they not know where they are? Whether they don't know or don't care doesn't really matter. Parents should be held responsible for those children and must be held to account for their actions. When these concerns were raised with me and residents in Townsville were suggesting that parents should be fined, I looked into what was currently available to magistrates. Now, under Queensland's Youth Justice Act 92, orders can be made against a parent. According to the Act, when a child is found guilty of a personal or property offence, it is, quote, reasonable that the parent should be ordered to pay compensation for the offence. And it also states that the court may decide to call on the parent of a child to show cause, as directed by the court, why the parent should not pay the compensation. And so if the law exists, it actually should be used, not as an option but as a first port of call. I believe a fine of, say, $2,500 and higher for more serious crimes would be a significant deterrent. And under the Act, the fine can actually be up to $7,370. If parents are unable or not willing to pay, and this is something new that I suggest to the Queensland Government, then they should incorporate in the Act an ability for a court to order the parent to take an intensive parental training course and also counselling sessions with their child who's a juvenile offender. It certainly will not be the first time that parents have been held to account for actions of their juvenile offending child. I actually note that in 1993, a magistrate in far north Queensland and the town of Innisfail ordered the parents of a juvenile found guilty of property damage to pay almost $8,000 in restitution. But rather than this being an isolated case, such actions should actually be the norm if we are to truly break the cycle of juvenile crime. Thank you,